Okay, Mom, we're recording. I'm pretty sure we're recording now.
Okay.
So, I'm just curious to know, we just went to a funeral of a family friend today, and it just gave me a thought to record you and some of your thoughts about how reflecting on your life.
Oh my
I know
goodness.
that's a big question.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah.
You should have given me that ahead of time.
I know, but I want it to be spontaneous.
It'll be so spontaneous that I can't remember anything.
Well, getting your laugh on tape is an important thing. Tommy Chapman said yesterday, your laugh is very infectious, and it always has been, so we appreciate that about you.
Okay.
But I know a lot has happened in life since you were born, because you were born in 1925, and it's 2011 now.
Yeah.
So what do you think anything that comes to mind that you think is the biggest change in your life?
Well,
that you miss, or how things used to be, or?
Well, I enjoyed my life, and there isn't anything that I can't have. I mean, you know what I mean. I guess you don't know.
No, you're content.
I'm content.
You're content now, but I was just wondering, do you have any memories that come to mind that were good times in your life or bad times, or does it all just meld together after a while when you reach your 80s?
Well, it melds together when I haven't thought about it much.
Yeah.
And that's the way it works.
I think too much. I think about it all the time.
Well, I mean, we've been out to Occidental, and we've been with some friends out there, and I don't get a chance to do that very much, and when I do, it's always a joy to be out there and see what a little town is really like, because that's the way all these towns used to be.
Yeah, Santa Rosa used to be little when you got here.
Oh, yeah. I think there was 27,000. That was all.
Yeah, in 1961, I think you got here, and you're still living in the same house.
Yeah, and when I went downtown, I had to walk upstairs to go to Penny's, second floor. They didn't have an elevator.
Uh-huh.
And that was something that and then they had a little 5 and dime store down there too that I used to run through real quickly. And all these little town things. But now that isn't that way anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of grew like Topsy.
Mm-hmm.
It kept getting worse, and lots of more people came, and I don't know.
And now you say even when you get on the phone, it's crazy because it's constant waiting on press this and press that, and no customer service really anymore.
No customer service. And you really don't have that much service when you go in to buy anything anymore. Mm-hmm. You're lucky if you get somebody who even pays attention to you.
Mm-hmm.
All they want is you to pay for it, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And get the heck out of there.
Right. But in the old days, you stopped and visited with neighbors and whatnot.
Yeah.
Although you lived out in the country.
Yeah.
So you were used to spending a lot of time alone in your childhood.
Oh, yes. I spent a lot of time in my childhood doing just things around the house that was needed done, and
the farm.
In the farm, yeah.
Inside and outside, because you had a big farmhouse and a big farm.
Yeah, it was an upstairs of 4 bedrooms and 1 bath, and in order to go to the bath, you had to go all the way upstairs and all the way down again, whereas now you have little bathrooms off the kitchen. Mm-hmm. And that was a time when you didn't have that. Mm-hmm. In fact, most of the people in my area didn't have an indoor bathroom. Mm-hmm. And this was a 2-story house.
And you also had a telephone. What you told me, you had a telephone and a car.
Yeah.
Which, not a lot of other people did.
No. And my mother got a new car, and she was just so proud of it. I can't even remember the name of it.
I think it was a Model T, you told me.
Well, that was earlier, but I think this one I'm thinking about is one that was a 4-door.
Oh, okay.
But I can't remember the name of it now, so.
And you drove to the, I'm going to move this a little bit to see if we can get a little better angle. Oops.
Oops. Oops.
Maybe. And you drove to the country or the state fair with your mom, I think you told me at one point. You were a little kid and you drove with Winnie Hogan to the state fair.
Well, see, you should have gotten me before I
Yeah.
got this forgetful.
Yeah.
I can't remember a lot of these things.
But that was neat. You did tell me that once. And then you met Dad at a country sing. Well, you had a broken down car. He came along. He didn't know how to fix it, but he asked if you wanted to come along to the company sing.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, you were on a train coming out to California, and that's how I got here and how you've been here ever since.
Yeah, that we got 6 months later we got married, and we just went down and got married 15 minutes before the place closed because my husband's family wasn't in tune with us getting married because I was a Protestant, he was a Catholic, and you didn't do that in those times. So, but we got married and got on a broken down train. This was after World War II, and took off for California, and it didn't cost us anything. So that's interesting right there.
Yeah, because I think Dad had worked on the train. He left seminary school and then got a job on the train and came out to California and saw it as the promised land. And then when you and Dad got married, he wanted to bring you out. And so from what you told me, you got out here, but then you got homesick or something, and so you went back to Nebraska. And the way you made it out the second time, that didn't last long. So the way you made it out the second time was to convert an old cattle truck.
Yes.
And load your belongings in there and drive here.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was a cab over, and we had that engine on between us all the way. And it stopped at one point, and it was at dark and just out of Colorado, and somebody stopped to see if they could help us, and we said only if you knew something about an engine. And so he got up there and he was meddling around, and he says, "Well," he says, this is loose, so let's just tighten this down." Well, that was all it was. And all of a sudden it turned over, and we just thanked the fellow, and he took off, and we never did get to his name or address or anything.
He was like a guardian angel.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, getting you to California.
Yeah, so we took off, and we drove that night until we got tired, and then we pulled over and slept for a while.
Did you have some place to stay when you got to San Francisco or Oakland or whatever it was?
We were going to... we weren't going to Oakland. I can't think of the name of the place we were going to, but it was on this side of the...
Belmont?
No.
Well, did you have friends that you were coming to stay with? I'm just curious to know how you managed to come out here with no job and no place to stay. How'd that all work out?
Well, it was... California was new at the time. And the area that we were headed for was just a little dinky town. And this is what it is a little dinky town. Mm-hmm. And so we had a place to just pull over and stay for a little bit. I can't remember very much. Well,
because I know Dad you guys lived in San Francisco for a while because Dad went to school.
Yeah.
And I thought you lived in Belmont, but that was after you had kids. You adopted the 3 kids while you were, I don't know, still in San Francisco or in Belmont?
No, we were in Belmont, I think. I'm not sure. You'll have to ask the kids about that. They would probably know about that more than I would know.
Yeah.
I've forgotten a lot of stuff, and my books that I could help me recall is...
There's a lot of going through that you'd have to do.
Yeah, I'd have to go through a lot of books.
Because I was told over the years that you lived in many different places, and you were always cleaning stuff up, cleaning up other people's messes.
Oh yeah.
And Dad had all kinds of jobs. You were always a homemaker because Dad preferred to not depend on any other income but his, and so he did all kinds of stuff. He was a mailman, and he did moving truck, but he did get his teaching credential and graduated from USF, and he became a teacher, and then you guys moved to Santa Rosa in '61, and then had me in 65. But you had all these kids in the small house.
Yeah.
And then he died in 1974, and then it was just you and me.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's pretty cool.
And then I think that was, you were always a strong person, but you had to be really strong after Dad died, because you just had me, just had to raise me, and then you got into the Resurrection Prayer group, and you prayed with people, and then you joined.
I prayed with people here in this home.
Yeah, in this home, you ministered to people for over 10 years,
That's
volunteer, right. And then you joined the church choir at Resurrection. You're also a Eucharistic minister. You took Eucharist to the homebound people. One person in particular was Diana. She's since passed on, but anyway, you did a lot of service for the community, and then
That's
a
right.
little later, after I left home, you decided to do some travel groups with the St. Eugene's Choir, and you sung for the Pope, and you went to Medjugorje, and yeah, and then you met Paul. Well, you met somebody named Paige in the interim for about a year. You were with him, and then he died suddenly. You guys were on a walk together, and he suddenly died. But then you met Paul, and you've been with Paul for 10 years now or so, and you've been dancing and eating dinner every night, and he was an answer to your prayers.
That's right.
Yeah.
The Lord has taken care of me.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you're still here, Mom.
I am too.
I love you. Okay, I'm going to end it now.